For me, I feel it's about governance is about people. And of course, when you look at it, like I said, looking at my antecedent, I believe we're not talking about just resettling people. We're talking about human dignity. And of course, most of these people, before the conflict, some of them have roof on top of their heads. They have their houses, they have their businesses, and today they've lost everything. So it's about human dignity. And for me, governance is about people. So you have to look at it. It's not sometimes, it's not about building bridges alone. It's about looking at the interests or maybe the lives properties of our own people. For me, it's very important. So the key aspect of governance is the people, and that is the most important thing. And of course, here we're talking about human dignity. Some people have, most of these people, when you look at them, before the conflicts in some areas, they have their own houses, they live peacefully, they have everything, but they woke up not because of anything they have done that is wrong, they lost everything. So for me, that is what is motivating me, because they are human beings, and we need to also look at them and look at their own dignity as human beings. So that is the key. So sometimes we need to redefine the governance. It's very important. So that is the issue. And of course, I could recall someone at the conference, was it 3 months ago, was celebrating chip anniversary, but they are telling people that remember, that's about 24 years ago, when I should know that indigenous but brilliant students, I researched the chief and I told him, look, come to the north. It's where you have a lot of people that are not educated, a lot of people that have not gone to, and a lot of people also that are brilliant, but they cannot go to school. And because of that, he initiated the Northern Nigerian Scholarship Scheme for the less privileged. So for me, we started in 24 years ago. And that's the reason why 10 years ago, I also started the Bursary Foundation, that in the last 10 years, we have been able to support less privileged people in our society, the underserved, thousands of them. So for me, it's something that I believe in and I'm passionate about. And as a governor, I believe we have to continue. So governance is about people. It's about the welfare of the people. It's about their own dignity. So that's what is driving me. That for me.
Restoring dignity to the people. I know earlier in your response to one of the questions you're talking about making farming. I'm not really so sure. That's why I want you to please highlight some of the things that you're doing specifically for women and children, because we know that they're most vulnerable in cases like this. So in specifics now, tell us, what are you doing targeted at women and children?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me give an example now. If you come to Kaduna, you agree with me that we have two major agencies in Kaduna, and one of them, even just last month, we went to Chilimbiri. We look at all the women in Chilimbiri, all the women who live in Chilimbiri, whether those that are affected by these conflicts or those that were just living in Chilimbiri. We deliberately, as a government, supported them with money to support their own businesses. And what we do, I also give them a lot of other support in terms of providing them with tools that they can use to enhance their own business. And of course, that amounted to about 275 million. And of course, we've done that. If you look at what we spend in supporting the women entrepreneurs in Kaduna State, in the last 6 months, we spent almost 4 billion for women alone in Kaduna. Because when I came in as a governor, I look at the situation, because coming from the Senate, as the chairman Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Financial Institution, I was privileged to cover about 90% of the financial service sector in Nigeria. And because of that, I had the data and the statistics that about 65% to 70% of our people in the Northwest are financially excluded. What did I do? 6 months ago, I signed an executive order in Kaduna to ensure that we bring our vulnerable women and even men back to financial services sector. I realized that most of them were unbanked. So in the last 6 months, we opened accounts for 2.1 million when they're served and born people in Kaduna State. That is the reason why we can be able to support them. But if you look at many other states in Nigeria, I can tell you, particularly northern part of Nigeria, when you look at the statistics in the Development Finance Department of the Central Bank, as well as the NDIC, the data is there. About 65% of our adult age are unbanked, meaning they are financially excluded. And that is the reason why we're having this crisis of poverty, the crisis of insecurity. And when you look at another statistics that's extremely very scary, is the fact that in northern part of Nigeria, we have millions of children that are out of school. When you look at the statistics, yes, Nigeria has the highest number of out of school children in the whole world, but 70% of that numbers are domiciled in northern Nigeria. For me, it's scary. And that is the reason why when people are talking about complaining here in northern Nigeria about the insecurity, about the poverty, ask everyone, all of us who are in politics, who are in government, or even some in the private sector in northern Nigeria, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves the truth. All of us must be blamed. In the last 15 years, the level of poverty in northern Nigeria is really, really scary. In 15 years ago, if we look at the poverty index in northern Nigeria, you will agree with me, only about 35% of our people are below the poverty line. Today, 15 years after, look at the statistics. In some states, about 70% of our people are below the poverty line. What has really gone wrong? So I believe all the politicians in northern Nigeria, whether you're the former president, former vice president, current president, whether you're a senator, a governor, a minister, in the last 15 years, you must be blamed for that. So we need to sit down and stop blaming everyone. We should blame ourselves. And we need to find a solution. That is unacceptable. And we should also stop misinforming our people.
Excellency, because of time.